Surviving Hitler Youth boys see it differently.
It was a callous sacrifice of human beings, in a situation in which the people who issued the orders knew it was senseless.
Genau wussten, dass es völlig sinnlos war.
We were cannon fodder. Nothing but cannon fodder, sent to replace older, experienced soldiers.
While many experienced soldiers were prepared to surrender, Hitler Youth boys were told to carry on fighting.
Ich weiß nur, dass Axmann nicht wollte, dass junge...
I know Axmann didn't want Hitler Youth boys to fight in units alongside old soldiers. He wanted to prevent the old soldiers saying to the boys, "This is shit. Let's just try to survive and get out of this mess."
Das zu überleben und aus dem Dreck rauszukommen.
Ist die Standhaftigkeit selbst. Nie sah ich ihn wanken oder verzagen, schwach oder müde werden. Wird seinen Weg bis zum Ende gehen. Führerbefehl, wir folgen.
We were defending the Führer. We were told things could still turn around from one day to the next. Then we'd wrap it up and the war would be won.
In April 1945, Hitler retreated to his bunker. But the bridges over the Havel were still a potential escape route to the west. Axmann promised he would use his schoolboy army to keep them open. It was a suicide mission for the boys.
They knew that the bridge was the eye of the needle, and that when passing through it, they'd be fully exposed to Russian fire.
To the Red Army gunners, the Hitler Youth boys were sitting ducks.
There was firing and shelling right, left and center. There were dead and wounded lying around everywhere. The stomach of one of them had been ripped open. It was dreadful.
The bridge was a bloodbath. There were hundreds of dead and people with all sorts of injuries. They lay there and vehicles drove over them and there were rivers of blood. I was in a motorcycle sidecar and saw it all. It was a sight I'll never forget. As I said, there were rivers of blood. People were stepped on, crushed to death.
Boys from the Hitler Youth had been sacrificed for the Nazi High Command.
Axmann liked to argue that our holding the Havel Bridge gave a lot of people the chance to flee over the Elbe. But that was another piece of fiction. Who did we do it for? So Himmler, the Jew murderer Himmler, could escape? Was I to sacrifice my life for a Jew murderer? It's too awful.
On the 30th of April, Berlin's city center fell. Only a few meters separated Red Army soldiers from Hitler's bunker. Under reinforced concrete several meters thick, Hitler weighed up his options.
The longer it went on and the gloomier the prospects became, the more every conversation turned to death. They thought about how to kill themselves. Should they shoot themselves?
Or should they take a cyanide capsule, which most of them already had with them?
Some still talked about escaping.
Axmann hatte die Vorstellung, dass ein kleiner...
Axmann had the idea that Hitler could escape in the middle of a small group of Hitler Youth boys.
durch die Einklammerung durchkommen könnte. Und
he suggested to Hitler that the boys be used as a human shield.
Schild dem Führer zur Verfügung zu stellen.
Hitler decided against the plan. Instead, he dictated a private will and a political will. He stated that he had never intended war in 1939. He then took his own life. The Battle of Berlin continued for another 3 days. Thousands more young soldiers died. Finally, the German army, the Wehrmacht, capitulated.
Aus dem Hauptquartier des Großadmirals vom 9. Mai 1945. Das Oberkommando der Wehrmacht gibt bekannt. Seit Mitternacht schweigen nun an allen Fronten die Waffen. Auf Befehl des Großadmirals hat die Wehrmacht den aussichtslos gewordenen Kampf eingestellt.
They said we'd win because we had the Führer. He and the miracle weapons would save us. Now the Führer was dead, and that dashed all our hopes that the war could be won. Everything, the dream, was over. We just tried to survive.
For 12 years, the Hitler Youth had controlled every facet of German children's lives. With their master dead, Hitler's children were free.
He was dead, and with him the Hitler Youth. Without Hitler, there was no Hitler Youth. It was strange. I was oddly unaffected by it all. But at the same time, I had the feeling, now you're completely free.
Also jetzt bist du eigentlich völlig frei.
Du lebst. You're alive. The war is over. A feeling of great happiness.
Alles das,
Everything that I had believed in, it all proved to be nothing. Nothing was left.
zerwies eigentlich als nichts. Es blieb nichts übrig.
Natürlich bin ich oft gefragt.
Of course, I've often been asked the question about what motivated us. The cool teenagers of today ask, why were you so stupid as to go along with it? I can only reply, thank God you can ask that question. We couldn't have asked it.
Damals nicht stellen können.